the fuel tank dry, get that back in the truck after that's all dry and cleaned out, and then put in an inline fuel filter from the fuel line from the truck up into the fuel pump. First thing I'm gonna do is get this fuel line disconnected, get the throttle linkage disconnected, and then it should just be, yeah, a couple of 1/2-inch bolts, and then this carb will slide right off, and then we'll take it over the bench. I need a flathead and socket and stuff. Okay, so vacuum line, let's get this linkage off here. Spring looks to be just clipped on. That seems to be just clipped on. Linkage line. That was pretty easy. Just a little clip that holds that guy on right there. Okay, it looks like we're using a 1/2-inch wrench, and there we are. There's just a couple of 1/2-inch studs here. And there's the nut. And there's our carter going to the bench. So we got a carburetor rebuild kit from O'Reilly's. Ordered it, came in like 2 days. I love O'Reilly's. Nobody else carried it. So I got this in the mail. Is a Walker Products carburetor rebuild kit. Hopefully it's everything I need. If not, then I'm just gonna have to go on the search and order more stuff. I'm gonna cut open this box, lay it out flat. We'll use that as our little work platform for this rebuild. We are ready to go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a nylon brush, hit this with some brake clean, clean the outside off, and then bring it back over here and start this assembly. Okay, we got all of our gaskets and stuff like that set off to the side. I'm not even sure if it's the right one. It said it was the right one via the part number, so we'll set that off to the side. We'll get everything broke down. We'll clean the parts as we can, and then reassemble with the new jets and stuff, make sure all the orifices and everything are open and clear so that we don't have any issues in the future. I've rebuilt a few carburetors in my time, mostly motorcycle stuff, so this shouldn't be too difficult to take care of. Just gotta keep everything in order. Now, I'm not sure what carburetor you guys are running on your rigs, but this one is off of a 78 to 87 6-cylinder. I made the mistake of thinking it was the one that came on the truck, just not knowing anything about 6-cylinder carburetors, and I ordered a carburetor rebuild kit for a 66 carburetor. And I was wrong. This one is a Motorcraft unit. It's got the tag right here, and it's a Carter carb for these 78 to 80 something models. Still works. I drove the truck a little bit down the driveway and back, so I'm going to keep using it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and speed you guys up to like, I don't know, 1,000, so that it'll just roll right through. I got the carburetor back on the engine, and I made a new hard fuel line down from the fuel pump up to the carburetor. A couple new pieces went on here, including this nipple and some fittings to attach to the fuel pump. I had a bunch of video for the carburetor, but unfortunately, on my part, I messed up the transfer of the files, so I lost those, but not a big deal. I mean, taking the carburetor apart, cleaning it, putting it back together is pretty straightforward. On the single barrels, there's not a whole lot going on. Probably a lot different with like a 2-barrel or a 4-barrel. But I got everything put back on here, and today we are going to finish some things up. There's really not a whole lot left to do to get this guy out on the road for a shakedown run, and then do a nice long run and see how everything goes. If it overheats or does anything weird, or if the motor sputters, it shouldn't be misfiring. It's been running pretty good so far, but I never know. So today we're just going to get the fuel tank hooked back up. I got that cleaned out, put back in the truck. We are going to get the fuel sending unit in, make sure the gauge works. And I'm also going to install a new heater core. I got a new one of those. So we're going to get all that installed, then make a run to the parts store, get some new clamps for a couple of the fuel lines, and then for these hoses, and I also need to buy some hoses, make sure all the blend doors work and everything. So just really buttoning everything up today and getting it ready for that long-awaited road shakedown run that I've been wanting to do. Not too much work, but it's going to take a lot of time to do it all. And I also need to plumb in this brake switch that I really overlooked getting this brake system back together. So we'll get all that done and then fire it up, take it out, let it warm up, and run it for a shakedown run. Got the fuel filter put in place. This guy's all buttoned up. I think next I'm going to go ahead and move in the cab and check out this new fuel sending unit and make sure that gauge works. Okay, gauge cluster is out of the truck and we've pulled it apart. So I got into this fuel gauge, and there's two little arms down here that move when you change the fuel level on the sending unit. And I think, show you guys. Here. I think these two arms were just locked the wrong way, because I moved this over to the full mark and then pulled it back, and it seemed to reset itself, and then hooked it back up to the gauge, and everything worked as it should. So I'm going to get this all put back together, put back in the truck, test it one more time, and then put the fuel sending unit back in, and then consider that portion done. So let's put this guy back together. I wiped off some of these faces in here just to get some of the dust and other stuff out of here. I'm gonna give it one more wipe down. It's pretty dirty. And then start putting all this back together and figuring out where the wires go. Before I put the remaining 4 screws in, we're gonna take it back over to the truck, make sure the gauge works, and then put the 4 screws back in and then reinstall everything in the truck. Let's go check it out. All right, we got the gauge hooked up, and we're gonna put this key to the on position. We're gonna move the float to the full position and see if this gauge works. We got it. Looks like it's, not sure if you guys can see it, but there it goes. So I'm gonna call that a success. It works, it seems to work. When I pull it up, it goes back up. Right now I'm about half a tank. Yeah, seems to be reacting like it should. So I'm gonna call that good. We're gonna get this put back together. We're gonna get the fuel sending unit put back in, and then we're gonna go tackle the heater core. Okay, I got the heater box out, torn apart. I lost my mic. It quit working on me, so now I need to buy another one of those. Let's get this heater core pulled out of here, clean out this box really well. It's a bunch of shit, bunch of foam and stuff like that in here. So take this out. Obviously it's leaking. I got green everywhere. Pull this guy out of here. And we'll grab the new one. Looks like the foam and everything is destroyed inside of here. That keeps it together, which sucks. I really don't have any new foam. I'll figure something out though. I think the new one has some foam padding on it. So let's get this guy cleaned out and compare this old heater core to the new one, and then reinstall it, put it all back together. This thing is gross. This guy is full of crap. Don't go anywhere, I need you. All right, set this guy off to the side. And the clip, and let's compare these two heater cores. Yeah, heater core came with new foam, so we're gonna be good there. Here's the old heater core, and here's the new heater core. Looks like it matches, other than this little tube right here is a little, it doesn't run parallel, it kind of runs at an angle. I'm not sure if it was bent, but I'm pretty sure I can just grab that and bend it over a little bit. Okay, we have the heater box done. So let's get back in the truck, reinstall it, put the bolts in from the other side. I snapped one of the bolts off here on this side, but it's probably gonna be okay. If I have to, then I'll just press that out and put a bolt in. Not a big deal, I got some in the drawer. Let's get inside the truck. All right. Let's get this guy hooked up. Which one were you? I think you went on the front, and then you went on the back. That's correct. Where are you hooked up here? On the side. Just get you screwed back in. Back in place. All right. Let me go get these nuts from the other side, and then we will put the blower motor back in and hook everything back up. Okay, so this might take a couple times, but this back cable here goes actually up to the switch for the blower motor, and you pull on it to get heat. So I'm gonna push it all the way forward first, and then seat this clip, and then move it later if I have to. All right. Got the blend doors hooked back up. Now I just need to get this blower motor set back in place, bolt it up, hit the ground, and we should be all right. All right, let's make sure it works. Perfect. Blower motor works. I need to just hook up all the air vents and stuff and put this glove box back in, and we are finished. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to play with all these things and figure out exactly how it works. For right now, I'm gonna consider this installed. I need to go to the store and get some new heater hose for the water pump to the core support. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned up. I'm gonna get this glove box back in, and then we're gonna go get those lines and install those. We're back from the store. I got 5/8 diameter, 6-foot long heater hose. I got 2 packs so I can run both lines from the water pump, the one that goes into the truck and the one that returns back to the water pump. I also got the clamps to get all that done as well. We're gonna get that finished. I'm gonna put the seat belts back in the truck, the seat back in the truck, and then this brake light switch over here on the master cylinder. Bleed the brakes one more time, and we should be good to go. I think that's pretty much all I need for right now. I need to put a support on that bed because it's rotting out in the front, it's drooping. So I'm gonna get that supported until I rebuild the bed. I'm gonna get you guys in here to watch what I'm doing. A little bit boring, but you know, it's better than nothing, right guys? I mean, if you're watching, you're interested. Nice. Let me relocate you guys, figure out our length, cut it, put it together. There's also a mixer valve up there on the front. You'll see it in a second. I need to get that put in, but first I'll make my length, then I'll cut out the small portion and put that in place. Need some scissors. All right, got this guy taken off here yesterday. Just did this little 5/16. You know what? We'll just leave that connected for now. It's not hurt my feelings. Let's get our line. Spot. Yeah, screwdriver. Hopefully we don't lose much coolant from this line here. If we do, oh well. I'll just have to get some more. So this valve here is pretty rotten. I'm gonna see if it moves freely after I get it off here. Or get these lines off, but the line's not looking so hot. Probably should have just left this guy intact. Let's see, it's pretty rusted. That guy's pretty shot, I think. Let me get some penetrating lube in there and see if I can get this thing to work loose a little bit. I'm gonna end up replacing it anyway. All right, got that working a little smoother. All right, we got our valve working a little bit smoother. It's pretty shot, but I'm gonna put it on anyway and then replace it in the future once I find the correct one. I need my scissors. Cut this little section out here. Through this section. we are installed. I'm not sure if I like this, but I guess I can hold that like that. Okay, last thing I can do is get this guy off here and this last piece of hose installed. Crack this loose. What he said. Go. All right. You done? Tighten you up. And I think we're done. I'll put these tools away. I'm gonna tighten up that last hose clamp there, and then get the seat belts put back in the truck, seat put back in the truck, fire it up, and let this water circulate and see if we have any leaks. So we've got our seat belts here. I took them and put them in a bucket of hot water with some soap and cleaned them up. They turned out pretty good. Still a little bit on the wet side, but sitting in here, they'll dry out eventually. Let's get these guys put in correctly. I think they go like this. Clasp on the inside. Buckles go on the outside. Sure. I believe it. Alright, for now I'm going to leave the seat belts up on the fuel tank because they're still a little wet. So I'm going to let those dry for a while. That way I just don't have the wet seat belt sitting here on the seat. I think I'm going to try to get this boot kind of screwed down. It's really loose and ugly. So I think I'll do that before we drive the truck. For now, we're good, and we're gonna move on to that brake light switch. All right, so I didn't have the right fittings to put the brake light switch up on the master cylinder. Luckily, I was able to stick it here. So everything fit for getting installed at the proportional valve. So I just took this line up to the front brake off, put this T in, installed the brake light switch, and then ran jumper wires basically that plug into the sensor, and then they run up front to the master. So the only thing I need to do now is I'm gonna put some of these clips on for the wires and then bleed the brakes one more time. Chuck's gonna be happy, and we're gonna check and make sure the lights work. So we're gonna start doing the whole thing and bleed the brakes. Got the brake light switch in. Unfortunately, it's not working. I need to diagnose that. I'm gonna swing down to the store and see if they got a new brake light switch. Got some other things I need to do, so I might as well just do that while I'm out. So that concludes everything as far as what we need to do, I think, to get this out on the road, other than that brake light switch. So the last thing we need to do is just go ahead and finally put an air cleaner on this guy. It didn't come with one, and I just got this universal guy from the parts store. So we now have an air cleaner. I'm going to put gas in the fuel tank and check everything for leaks. Make sure it pumps up and fires up. And I think we're going to go ahead and take it for a drive. Finally. All right, so I got the truck backed out. I'm going to let it sit here and run for a while, warm up. See if that temperature gauge works. Fuel sending unit doesn't seem to be working, but I also didn't put that much fuel in it, so who knows right now. But we'll let this sit there and run, idle, warm up, and make sure all the fluids are good and I don't have any leaks. All right, so I let the truck warm up. Temperature gauge works fine. Gas gauge doesn't, but I also don't think I have very much gas in it. So I think we're pretty good. I'm gonna go pick up that brake light switch. We're gonna try and get that worked out before we take it out on the road. But it's pretty much roadworthy. I don't see any fuel leaks here from the fuel pump or any of the lines that we did. So I think we're pretty good. One other thing I need to do is an exhaust in this thing. It is stupid loud inside the cab. Also, you get exhaust fumes just blowing up in the cab, and I really don't want that for me and Chuck as we're taking this thing out on the road. We'll probably do a test drive without the exhaust and it'll be stupid loud, but we're gonna have to get one pretty soon. So I'm gonna go to the store, we're gonna get this brake light switch working so that we get brake lights. Otherwise I'm gonna be doing this number out the window. And that concludes this episode. The next one that I'm gonna put up is gonna be of us taking this truck down our backcountry roads. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video series, and continue to follow along on the other upgrades we do on this truck. There's first, there's second. Let's go ahead and put it in drive. There's reverse.